Hello friends, my name is Dante, and today, I tried beating Spider-Man Miles Morales with only gadgets. Was I successful? Can all enemies be defeated with, just my little webbies? And Jesus Christ, what did they do to my boy's face? He went from head of the football team to Turbo Virgin 69. So the rules are really simple. The only way I'm allowed to attack enemies is with gadgets. That means webs. That means hollow drones. That means electricity mines. And that means gravity balls. 4 ways to dispose of the scum in New York City. So was I able to do it? Let's find out, baby. For this challenge, I knew I had to choose New Game Plus. Why? One simple reason. The cat suit. I mean, look at it! I got a little cat in my backpack. I know it gives me a slight advantage because I'm already leveled up, but come on, the cat suit makes it worth it. No, really though, to negate this, I also chose the absolute hardest difficulty there is. Ultimate. Not to mention, the skills really don't do much in this game. They're mostly Venom related, so trust me. New Game Plus isn't as much of an advantage as you might think. On Ultimate difficulty, the enemies are more aggressive, have more health, and do more damage, but they're just as stupid as they are on lower difficulties.
He's here! He's gotta be! Bruh.
My adventure started with me being that overly annoying helpful chap who just had to prove how good of a guy I was through small actions. Oh, I will not go out of the subway doors first, my lady. I would never think of it. Hey, let me help you with that couch, you weak piece of shit. Paint can coming up! Oh yeah, I was definitely going to heaven. My mama had asked me to buy some milk from the corner store, but of course, being the superhero I was interrupted by a text from my new super pal, Peter Parker. He wanted me to join him in transporting a high-level, dangerous criminal, so Mama's milk was gonna have to wait. Now, I can't stress this enough. The swinging in this game is enough to make any man skip that fast travel button. I mean, it's so smooth, so fast. Peter and I were following behind a caged rhino, and of course, me being the idiot kid I was, I ended up messing the whole situation up and got half a dozen citizens killed because of it.
Helix 2 is down. No casualties.
Right. Peter took Rhino while I took all of the inmates, because yes, we also just happened to knock over a prison transport bus as well. I didn't really know what to do, so I just started running around in circles. See, I'm the type of guy to never use items in video games. Potions in Skyrim? Nah fam. Medkits in Dead by Daylight? Ooh. And that also goes for gadgets in Spider-Man. Yes, I beat the game once before this, but that doesn't mean I used any gadgets. Why use complex fighting styles when you can just smash a square? After about 15 minutes of mindlessly running around, I found out that if I could bait an enemy close enough to a vertical surface, I could shoot my white stuff at him at light speeds, causing him to stick to the wall. And so that's what I did. Luckily, webs are infinite, so as long as I didn't mind waiting for the recharge, all small enemies could be defeated this way. I mean, every now and then the enemies would shatter their spines from the pure force of being stuck to the wall, but as long as they were still alive, that was okay with me. It's not murder if there's a slight sign of brain activity. I've never rode a man or a rhino before, but there's a first time for everything. Surprisingly, he could be controlled pretty well, like a horse from Red Dead Redemption. We charged through a mall, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage, and we might have also run over a few innocent people, but it's just the cost of being a superhero, and I am more than willing to make that sacrifice.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Then all of a sudden, Rhino ran headfirst into a propane silo. Oh Jesus Christ, Mr. Furballs! God damn it. Oh wait. Oh, he's still alive! Thank God that cat is a super cat, because otherwise, it would have went from a spider cat to a Dr. X cat. So yeah, after defeating a few more enemies with guns, I came across Spider-Man's demise. Rhino told us both to bend over and prepare our cheeks for annihilation, but no, I said. Not today. My anti-cheek policy was so strong that day that I found out I had a new superpower hidden within me. The power of electricity. So I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. No, you're not able to defeat bosses with only gadgets, okay? Rhino is scripted to only take damage from venom punches, and that goes for the rest of the bosses in the game. I can spray webs at him all I want, but that won't do jack shit. I mean, maybe if I had infinite mines or hollow drones, the bosses could eventually be defeated, but 1, I doubt that. And 2, the only infinite gadget you have is webs. The rest have to recharge in a weird way that I'm still confused on how it all works. I mean, I'd go a couple of fights without having any mines or gravity balls to use, so if any of you know how the system works, let me know in the comments below. I ended up saving Spider-Man, which I'll just point out is incredibly stupid. You're telling me Spider-Man couldn't handle a little rhino? Someone who he's beaten over and over again for 8 years straight? Someone who's a toddler to fight compared to the some of the guys he's fought? Yeah, okay. Anyway, Spider-Man is safe. The most obvious businessman villain in history comes to collect the crazy Russian man. And oh god. Oh, what am I looking at? Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't realize they allowed 12-year-olds to become superheroes. Wait a minute.
Hey y'all, Scott here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. Okay, Vietnam flashbacks aside, Scott told me he was going on vacation with his sugar mama and it was my job to watch over New York. I couldn't even watch over a poor little kitty, so I didn't know how I was gonna watch over New York. But Scott believed in me, so we touched tips, looked deep into each other's eyes, and I was officially Spider-Man for the next 2 weeks. Before we get too much further into this adventure, today's video is sponsored by Loopdeck. Loopdeck Live is a great tool to use if you're into video editing, streaming, color grading, using Photoshop, and all that jazz. Basically what it does is make workflow a lot easier and faster for you by making shortcuts and complex actions easily available to you with the click of a button, not to mention all of the useful industrial knobs on the sides. In other words, if you have a trash memory like I do and struggle to memorize the billions of different keybinds for your programs, the Loopdeck can really help to simplify the process and save you lots of time. Loopdeck is a new professional console with a super adaptable user interface, and the sheer amount of programs it can already work with seamlessly is pretty crazy. You can use this thing with OBS, Streamlabs, Twitch, Spotify, Adobe products like Photoshop and Premiere Pro, and the list goes on. Personally, I've been using it with Photoshop for some of my YouTube thumbnails to cut the thumbnail making process down by a lot. The cool thing is, let's say you don't like that the paintbrush tool is here and you'd rather have the text tool there instead. The profile creator lets you easily create personalized mappings for any application you're using and lets you create any kind of command combinations you can think of with the custom actions and adjustments options. You can even create really complex actions that would normally take multiple steps to do and condense that all into a single button press. The Loopdeck itself is surprisingly really high quality as well, like you really don't have to be gentle with this thing, and because it's so small, it's really easy to bring with you wherever you go. Since I'm kinda small brain, I didn't realize the Loopdeck actually came with a stand to elevate it, which made it so much nicer to work with. You also don't even really have to set much up if you don't feel like it. For example, all I had to do was download the Loopdeck software, and then it was immediately able to start working with Photoshop. So if you're interested in checking out Loopdeck for yourself, there's a link at the top of the description that you can go to. There's nothing more beautiful than New York at night. I know I didn't give this game the best score in the world, but it definitely has its moments. I really can't get over how amazing the snow effects are as you swing around New York, doing stunts and coming within a few inches of hitting the cold, hard December pavement. My friend Genki wanted to see me in Central Park, and I showed him Scott's gift that he gave me before he left for his vacation. Genki wanted me to put it on so bad, so I did, and I gotta say, it looked amazing. Wait a minute. By the way, the part where Spider-Man trains me with holodrones was easily done with webs. I didn't even need to fight the bots the way Spidey wanted me to. Now I gotta say, the fight at the Reactor place was tough. Again, I was playing on the hardest difficulty there is, which means I have split-second timing to dodge attacks, and I get KO'd in 2 or 3 punches. Not to mention, the only way to actually defeat an enemy is to make sure they're damn near touching a wall. So imagine fighting a dozen different enemies, half of them trying to hit you, half of them trying to shoot you while grenades are being thrown at you, all while trying to lead certain enemies to the walls around the room. Yeah, that was my definition of pain for the day. I'm not even gonna bring up the fact that dumb Miles has auto aim, which meant he wouldn't even hit the guy I wanted him to a lot of the time. Because my other gadgets were so limited, I had to use my webs for 95% of the enemies in this playthrough. After all of that pain and agony, I was finally able to come home for Christmas dinner. My mama was a little upset that I didn't get the milk from the gas station, but she was an overall forgiving mom, so she only asked that I help her set up the house for Christmas. I turned on the Christmas lights, picked my uncle's favorite album that just happened to be in 100p resolution, and witnessed something that scarred me for life. That's when my best friend Finn showed up. We had a great time that night.
Harlem needs someone to fight for the community.
That's Mom's campaign speech voice, in case you couldn't tell.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
The next morning, I felt like the coolest man in town. Not only am I a superhero by day, I'm an entertainer by night. Or evening, I don't know, night sounded better. I mean, I was walking down the street like Bully Maguire. I nudged into people without a care in the world, showed people my sick acrobatic skills, football tackled innocent people in the streets, and was just causing general mayhem. No neighborhood was safe as long as I was in it.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Shut up, Uncle Ben. Scott gave me the choice to use my powers for good or evil, and I chose evil. Oh yeah. How's it going? The power had corrupted me, and I turned into an absolute villain. I danced where people didn't want me to dance. I broke mailboxes and terrified the public. I even stole the Sign Dancers show by trying to show everyone how cool I was. I needed to be stopped. I used my powers to impress girls and then ran away and got angry when they didn't give me their number. I ran down the streets of New York and danced at every goddamn crosswalk I could. I was out of control. Since I'm on a random tangent here, I'd like to say that I've never encountered a glitchier game in my life. I was getting stuck in buildings because they hadn't loaded in yet. I saw people swimming in the air. I became a puppet and was forced to reload my checkpoint. I even became a head without a body. And if you thought all that was terrifying, Finn and I became actual demons.
Speak of the devil.
I probably had to restart my game 5 times because glitches ended up soft blocking me. Anyway, it was time to go to my mama's rally. I saw a news team there, so I took my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be on TV. Unfortunately, a villain by the name of the Tinkerer crashed the party and I had to web all her boys to the walls. Like all fights I had been in, it was decently tough and took a long time, but it was completely doable. And what do you know? I found out the Tinkerer was Finn, my childhood friend who shared a Christmas dinner with me the other night. Of course, me being stupid, I somehow found a way to blow up the biggest bridge in New York, and before it collapsed into the ocean, I made sure to stick as many enemies as I could to the cars and buses scattered around the map. I didn't murder them, gravity did. The ocean did. It's not my fault they drowned. Yes, okay, the whole bridge fiasco might have been my fault. Yes, I probably got hundreds of people killed, and yes, some of that would probably easily classify for murder. But these jerks thought the solution was to kill me. And the cat! These monsters were gonna off this poor little creature all in the name of justice. Luckily, I was able to turn invisible and bounce, but at least now I knew who my true friends were. Just because I accidentally blew up the biggest bridge in New York doesn't make me a bad guy. Roxxon was now my enemy. Genki and my mom turned into demons, we created a super cool suit, and my screen went completely red. Oh boy, another checkpoint reset! Also no, I prefer cats. I went to Finn's hideout to try and find out why she was a big bad guy when I came across the best tool in my arsenal. Stealth webbing. Stealth webbing was the way to go. I'd turn on my invisibility cloak, web a guy to a wall, a guy would say, "Guys, I have a feeling Spider-Man is here." And when they went to check it out, I'd just rinse and repeat. And if they weren't close to a wall, I'd just web it and they'd go and check it out. And yes, the invisibility cloak counts as a gadget. It's not like I was using the other 3 anyway.
What's so funny? Uncle Aaron?
God, so many glitches. What is this game? It was time for my Uncle Aaron and I to fight the traitor scum that called themselves Roxxon. My uncle took the left while I took the right, and guess what? Uncle Aaron was completely useless. Could he distract enemies? Sure. Could he actually do a single point of damage to them? Hell no! This guy was all bark and no bite, so it was up to me to get us out of there. Then came the time to help the innocent civilians of New York. This one idiot got himself stuck on the side of a building and it was my job to save him. At first, I just thought the guy was bad at his job. Then I realized that wasn't the case at all. Some bad guys on the roof were screwing him over. Really? That's like the equivalent of ding-dong ditch or prank phone calls to these guys. Why are they harassing this poor window washer? I took the justice system into my own hands and trapped the guys on the roof for eternity, probably killing them by hypothermia or thirst. I even shattered a guy's whole skeletal system and sent him into orbit. Meh, there's a good chance he's still breathing, so I'm still good. I haven't broken my hero code yet. Just his spine. It was spy time. I infiltrated Finn's super duper secret hideout, and this whole fight was actually a challenge. At first, I tried fighting them head on, but holy Christ, that was too much. Stealth it is. Surprisingly, I ended up using all of my saved up gadgets here. Mines, hollow drones, and gravity balls. Without those, I would have had a much harder time getting through this gauntlet. After that, I came across Finn's evil lair, the place where she concocted all of her evil plans. Genki wanted me to take some pics of everything they were doing, which gave me the perfect opportunity to use my invisibility suit. There was only one flaw in this plan. My brain-dead cat kept meowing. Here, I came across a new enemy, the sword user. They were just as easy to web to the walls as other enemies. But oh no, I came across another of Finn's super secret layers and we meet yet another enemy, the shield guy. This guy is unwebbable. His thick, meaty muscles aren't just for show. You cannot contain his pure masculine energy, but Because God is on my side, he can be defeated if you use an electronic keypad with a mine to make his heart explode. So we're still good. Only bosses need a physical pounding so far. Finn had enough of me snooping around in her precious secret layers. She punched me at supersonic speeds, I slingshotted back, and flew across New York City at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I didn't need to catch up to her. She had to catch up to me. Dude, should I add a glitch counter at this point? Alright, so I chased her through the city, she threatened to cut my head off, and I told her that I was Spider-Man. Well, not really. Scott is Spider-Man and will always be Spider-Man. So I just told her that I was Spider-Man number 2, aka Spider-Man's sidekick. Finn seemed upset about this, so I went to Uncle Aaron for advice. He told me the best way to win a girl over was to make her a mixtape and proceeded to tell me about a scavenger hunt he had created for me. At this point, I thought Uncle Aaron was pretty damn cool, but unbeknownst to me, he was stabbing me in the back the whole time. Remember that super evil businessman guy in the beginning? Yeah. Well, Uncle Aaron was working with him to get Finn killed. But because I didn't know that at the time, I went with his plan to meet her at the church the next morning. So I went to bed, traveled across the city to meet Finn, and made up with her. That is, until Rhino appeared out of nowhere to clap my cheeks. Apparently, he was able to beat me this time, and I woke up in Roxxon's secret underground laboratory. And this is the first time I had to use something other than my gadgets if you don't count bosses. These men were pounding my beef hard, and the only way to proceed was to... you know... Can I say what this looks like without being cancelled? No? Oh, right. I forgot I'm not allowed to make jokes. Anyway, I escaped and saved Finn's life, and then she got mad at me for lying to her about being Spider-Man. All due respect, Finn, go fuck yourself. God, she's such an unlikable character. So yeah, we escaped. Finn tried to kill Rhino, or... hell, maybe she even finished the job, I don't know. And she beat me to a pulp. But hey, at least Mama Morales knew I was Spider-Man number 2 now. Welcome to the club, Mama Morales. It was time to stop Finn once and for all. She wanted revenge on this guy for annihilating this guy, but in the process, she would destroy the entire city. And to that, I say no. I'm the only one that gets to destroy New York and get away with it. But imagine my surprise when Uncle Aaron kidnapped me. Traitorous scumbag. If I had my mask off, I'd spit in his face. Unfortunately for my uncle, I was stronger than him. So I beat him up, did a little dance, and went to stop Finn. But oh no, I had a flashback. It was at a time when Finn and I were best homies. We were trying to figure out a plan to break into the second floor of the museum when all of a sudden, Scott and his little nerd buddy bumped into me. I'm not one to back down in a situation like this. So even though at this point in my life I had no idea who Scott even was, I stayed around those two nerds to assert my dominance. No way in hell was a loser gonna nudge into me and get away with it. Scott had enough of this lame museum and told his old man friend that he was gonna hit the hay, which gave Finn and I the perfect opportunity to mug this loser in the parking lot. We followed him all the way to a deserted hallway, but something in me told me not to go through with it. I was a better man than that. In hindsight, thank God I didn't pick a fight with this guy because I'm sure I'd be in a wheelchair if that was the case.
Let's try this again.
I mean, hey, I'm no stranger to killing people. Inmate kill of the week goes to Miles Morales. Poor third-degree burned bastard. Remember those shield guys? Yeah, well, like I said before, they can only be defeated with a keypad mine. I tried using webs, hollow drones, gravity balls, and even mines without being attached to keypads, but alas, nothing worked. So enemies I couldn't defeat with only gadgets consisted of all bosses and shield guys when there were no keypads around. It wasn't all bad though. I actually got to make friends with some of Finn's slower colleagues. The city was being destroyed and I told my family to get lost. Genki, Mama, and all of them had to leave because in a few short minutes, Harlem was about to become the next Grand Canyon. I told my Mama I loved her, told Genki to lose some weight, and I went off to save the city. Finn, the most misunderstood, annoying, trash villain in the entire Spider-Man universe. I guess it's true that girls hold grudges because this hoe would not let go of the fact that I didn't tell her I was Spider-Man. Her nagging was constant and I had enough of it. She wanted to blow up the city and I was like, nah fam, so the fighting began. After a long, arduous battle, Finn finally saw what damage she had caused and told me she was sorry. Yeah, it's a little late for that, Finn. Oh, Jesus, I can't believe you have the balls to apologize. And Miles said it was okay. No, that's not how that works. You don't just get to blow up an entire city and say sorry. Also, remember when I told my family to get lost because the reactor was about to blow? Well, guess what? They decided the best course of action was not to run away as far as possible from the nuclear power plant. No. They thought it would be best to walk towards the reactor to look for me. Are you kidding me? I was about to blow the biggest load of nuclear power in my life, and my friends and family would surely be demolished. With the last of my strength, I limped over to the reactor, absorbed the rest of the energy, and in a heroic moment, Finn lifted me into the atmosphere and told me to let her die to save the city. Gladly. Finn wasn't a good friend. Finn was crazy. Finn got blown into a million pieces and I was happy. Good riddance. All I needed was my boy Genki. He was quite the lad and had never let me down. Best character in the game by far. So, can you beat Spider-Man Miles Morales with only gadgets? Nope, this is another failed challenge. It was pretty close though. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel because I make new gaming challenges at least once a year. And make sure to click that bell. If you don't click that bell, you pretty well aren't subscribed to me, so make sure you click that bell. Thanks for watching. Check out my many other gaming challenge videos on my channel, and I'll see you thick ones in my next video. Also guys, be sure to check out Senza's channel as well because he's also doing a Miles Morales challenge. I don't know if it's up yet or not, but keep an eye out for it.